Alright, so here we are now in week 10. We're continuing on with the tether, going into the ROV. Okay, so regardless of whether the ROV is operated from a cage TMS with a rear-mounted tether or is operated from a top-at TMS with a top-mounted tether, all ROVs have to have their tether firmly secured with a Kellam's grip, similar to a Chinese finger trap that gets tighter with the more strain. So this is it here. Right, so this is a strain relief, okay? This device is installed on the tether prior to a re-termination by sliding it over a tether and securing with several stainless steel hose clamps and tape. So he wants the tape down here. So here it is, nice stainless steel bolt, right? With a cotter pin. If you didn't have the cotter pin, you would probably have to use at least 2 nuts or a fiber lock nut, okay? You got to have some type of safety, added safety. Do not use ferrous metals. Alright, this is in a hard to reach spot. The Kellam's grip is then attached to the ROV frame with a stainless steel shackle rated for the working strain of the ROV. The tether is also secured at the other end of the TMS drum with the Kellam's grip as shown in the picture below. So this is the drum in the TMS, okay? On tap-out TMS ROVs, the Kellam's grip runs inside the bullet where it's connected to the ROV framework. This arrangement offers extra abrasion protection from the grip itself for the tether where it rubs on the inside lip of the bullet. So there's your tether going in, okay, with the Kellam's grip on it. Tether is ruled to avoid small bend radiuses. Right, so notice, right, you're in an area now where there could be chafing and all that. Kellam's grip is fastened to an attachment point with a shackle. Alright, so red alert, red alert, red alert. What do we see here? Ferrous metal. Okay? And that's a no-no. Unless it was checked, you know, bi-monthly or something like that. Well, you just wouldn't use it. So I don't know what's there. It's a mistake. So this should be stainless steel. Remember that. Heed my advice on that. So tether again for cage type ROVs. The tether enters the foam block at the rear where it first runs through a TPE strain relief, which is slightly flexible to help prevent bending damage to the tether when it's not streaming directly behind the ROV. So that's a ruler, okay, 1 foot long. Right, so this just makes it come out, right? So the bend radius will be here. So it just don't come off and, okay? And there's another view. River Magnum system. The ROV had to have its tether caught and be rescued by another ROV when its thrusters head and tether became hopelessly tangled in a mess of polypropylene rope. Right, so there's the mess, right? Now, sometimes this is not a total fiasco. You could do the synapse, or if this was in the front thrusters, you could pan over with your pan and tilt. Reverse thrust, if it's not too much of a knot, and before you do that, you would grab the slack with your manipulator, or the other ROV would come in and grab the slack with the manipulator. Reverse thrust and haul at the same time. Reverse thrust, so that's counterclockwise, haul as you're doing it. Reverse thrust, haul, and you'll get it out. We've done it a couple of times, okay? But this was maybe more than meets the eye. So this is once again the TPE thermoplastic elastomer. Alright, so we already covered that. Looks like to me your starboard and port motors. So this is a reddish color by the looks of it. Right, there's a camera, but it don't have a pan and tilt, okay? It's just stationary. So the tether is then routed through the ROV framework, where it enters the ROV termination can through a watertight gland nut. From this point onward, just like the TMS, three-phase power is routed directly to the motors and single-phase power to the transformer pod, step-down transformer, with the telemetry optic fibers going to the electronics pod or a fiber optic survey pod. Okay, so coming in, alright, tog on, right, going into your term strips, hard plumbed, okay? No quick disconnects or nothing. There are no regular screw-on connectors, nothing like that, okay? They're in. So this is intrusive maintenance to change these whips out. That's a light here, okay? Subsea light. Motor. Ferrous metal, as you can see. Covering LPS. Needs to be cleaned up and repainted, okay? There, Tula. 1, 2, 3. Now we have the ROV. So there's your grabber. 5 function. This is a 7 function arm, okay? Should be able to do just about everything your arm can do. So this is the strength arm. This is the fiddle player, the surgical arm. Pan and tilt cameras, okay? Another one here. So that'd be your main, that'd be your upper. Work class ROVs can be divided into 6 major subsystems: ROV structure, frame and foam block, electronic system, electronics and telemetry system. I should say electrical system number 2. Okay, electronics and telemetry system number 3, number 4, hydraulic system, 5, pressure compensation system, 6, ancillary cameras, lights, sensors, sonar, etc. The electrical telemetry, hydraulic and pressure compensation systems are very similar to those in the TMS. As such, the following lessons will build upon where we left off reviewing the TMS systems and expand on their differences. So here's your foam block. Even though it's foam, it's quite heavy. Okay. Now here's your frame. Alright. So sometimes these structures can break. A quick fix is to brace it. So you just get a piece of metal, this was broke here, piece of metal 4 or 5 to 6 inches either side of the break, and bolt it into place. Alright, but that's not a permanent fix. Just basic carpentry, okay? It's metal, but you can use like a lot of carpentry skills, okay? We'll say, for basic frame. Frame of the ROV is very important, as it must be strong enough to support all the motors, pumps, electronics, pods, comps, manipulators, remote control units, valve packs, transformers, sensors, sonars, cameras, lights, cables, hoses, hydraulic tubing, and any other equipment or tooling necessary to perform its work. It must also be light as possible in order to keep the size of the foam block small enough to be able to fit inside a cage or through a large or moon pool area. The larger and heavier Millennium class ROV on the right has a proportionally larger foam block than a smaller Magnum. So there you can see the size difference. Alright. This is the old G3, which we have. So the frames are constructed with high-grade welded aluminum shapes and plates, and is fitted with numerous zinc anodes to provide corrosion protection. The frame is an open design that permits easy access to all components for maintenance and repairs, and to add additional components as necessary. So the grabber arm is here now, down extended. We actually got that arm in there. We do not have this. This is a T3 or T4. I think it's a T3. Judging by the age, because when I was out there, this arm was not installed, this grabber. They had a rig master on it. Alright, so the frame must also be able to withstand several dynamic stress loads imposed by skids and rough manipulator and tooling use. Alright, so this is going to be several hundred pounds, right? In addition to the ROV's own equipment, Most ROVs today must be able to integrate very heavy tooling skids and attachments like this Magnum ROV in a specially modified cage. Now obviously when this launches out, it's going to be forward heavy. So they would have to do like a little weight and balance test of taking lead weights off in the front and maybe having to add them on the back to trim it out. It's called trimming. Same as aircraft and helicopters, okay? You're flying through a different medium. So the foam block, the buoyancy block, provides positive flotation to the ROV. ROV foam blocks are formed out of a single block of high-density synthetic foam material that is made out of a combination of glass microspheres that range in size from 10 to 120 microns and special resins coated with fiberglass shell for durability and protection. The buoyancy block can be rated for different depths of water depending on the construction method, density, size, and volume. So if you ever got to machine a piece of this, I would recommend double, like either some type of like high-grade masks. Just a surgical mask won't do it, okay? Unless it probably triples up. Right, because it's glass, okay, and resins, the dust, do not do it inside. You'll never get the dust out of the enclosure you're in. Alright? So, not good for your lungs. That's how I'll say it. So most modern ROV foam blocks are rated between 3,000 and 4,000 meters, and only a few ROVs are rated to 11,000 meters, like the ROV, the Keiko. Second vessel of only 3 to ever reach the bottom of the Challenger Deep in the Marianas Trench in '95. First ROV to visit the location since the United States Navy manned Trieste mission in 1951. So maximum depth measured on the Keiko dive was 10,911.4 meters. So almost 11 kilometers, right? 11 kilometers down. So the important thing to remember about synthetic foam blocks is that they can lose buoyancy over time with the absorption of water to being subject to hydrostatic pressure. Synthetic foam has a surface that is covered with tiny cracks and voids that can gradually absorb water over time when exposed to hydrostatic pressure. Smooth fiberglass cover is designed to prevent the ingress of water, and this is why it is so important to avoid damaging the fiberglass surface of the foam block, and if it is damaged, to repair as quickly as possible in accordance with the manufacturer's directions. So at the very least, you would glue this, resin it together, seal it, 2-part epoxy paint, and a quick fix, clear nail polish is good to put over stickers to waterproof seams and all that. Okay, remember that. Obviously it's got to be identified. So what is rated for, right? Purchase order, date of manufacturer, serial number, the weight. So the weight, 2,266 pounds. Like I said, nothing to laugh at, right? Do not get your fingers jammed. That's all I can say. The foam blocks are designed specifically for individual classes of ROVs based upon ROV's weight and anticipated tooling requirements. Most ROVs are designed so that they are positively buoyant to permit the additional of ancillary equipment and tooling. Ballast weight in the form of lead blocks is added to the ROV to bring it to the neutral buoyancy and can be removed to correct buoyancy when using heavy tooling packages. Finally, ROVs are designed to have a high center of buoyancy and a low center of gravity in order to make the platform as stable as possible. So remember that. Future test question. High center of buoyancy, low center of gravity. So normally there would be about 100-200 kilograms of lead in this RV, but with the addition of the hardline cutter and the trash pump and hoses, so there's your hose, right? And they got buoys, okay, to easily grab it, but you can see this is quite the nightmare for your camera and thrusters, okay? All the lead ballast had to be taken off and additional buoyancy floats had to be added just to maintain neutral buoyancy. So you can notice there should be actually a monkey's fist. Sorry, they're saying this is the flotation, but there should be a monkey's fist here on this part, and that's so you can pick it up easier. Now, what else can I say about that? Once again, like, if you change out the weight before you commence your mission, you would just leave your cage and do like a little soak test to see what the ROV responds to the thrusters. Right? Better to spend an extra 10 to 15 to an hour even than going down and making a 2-hour mission a 10-hour mission. Okay? If you just spent extra time preparing right. Okay, so finally the foam block should not be over tightened onto the frame, as this can lead to cracks and eventual disintegration and failure of the blocks as witnessed in this case. So what this really is now is an access panel to the MCP. This is the MCP main control pod. An access panel was taken off, and the access panel was over tightened, and it cracked. Okay, the whole block. So be aware of that. Be aware of the torque values. RTFMS, read the fine manual, sir, or student. Alright, observed orange tether gland. Alright, tether going in. Steel braided whip is the optical fiber, leading to either electronics powered survey can, depending on which unit is housing the MUX unit. The other three, 1, 2, 3, loops are for the 2 3-phase motors or single phase power going to the transformer pod. So most electro-hydraulic RVs like this 100 horsepower Magnum have 2 electric motors driving 2 hydraulic pumps. They're exactly the same motors and pumps as on the TMS, which reduces the spares requirements. Some RVs have their motors in the rear. Other types located them near the center of the frame in order to make the RV more stable. So here we go. Different series of motors. These are the Gold Series motors, okay? I'm not going to get too much into that. Know that they're extremely heavy, okay? So don't go trying to lift them. Actually, the crane should be lifting them for you. There's a size difference there. So now we're going to get into the electrical systems of the motors. Alright, so here's a 100 horsepower Magnum. 3,040 kilograms, okay, not pounds, kilograms. Here's your maximum. Once again, nice and neat, everything's inside the frame. Alright, your motors are inside here in the center, like they said, right? Mains are here, what it looks of it. MCP, term can, fiber optic can. And they got another can here, probably a CCP or survey pod. That'd be a camera control pod, in case this couldn't handle, but I could be wrong. I've never worked with a Maximum. Probably just a survey. That is the fiber optic, knows the shape. Okay. And that's it for this week. Alright, signing off. Okay.